So in today's video, we're going to be talking about some of the most basic differences between iMovie and Premiere Pro. The biggest and probably the most important difference is that iMovie is free, but Premiere Pro is paid for. Now, for you to have iMovie, you need to have an Apple device. So it can be an iPad, an iPhone, or an iPod if people still buy that, or even a MacBook, which is the more expensive option out of the three. But you can use Premiere Pro on Mac, Windows, or whatever type of laptop you have. So in order for you to use Premiere Pro, you need to subscribe to something called the Creative Cloud, and that costs about 305 Rand per month. And it also gives you access to other applications like Photoshop, Illustrator, Lightroom, and a whole lot of other things. Whereas with iMovie, if you already have an iPhone or an iPad or a MacBook, it's basically free for you to use iMovie. But if you don't have any Apple device, you would have to buy one. And right now an iPhone 8 costs about 9,199 Rand, and this is according to Takealot. The yearly cost of a Creative Cloud subscription comes up to about 3,488 Rand, which in 2.5 years will accumulate to almost the same amount as buying an iPhone 8. So the question is, would you rather get an iPhone 8 now and pay for it once and finish, or do you want to pay the 3,488 Rand every year? The good thing about iMovie is that it's very simple, which makes it extremely easy to use. On iMovie, everything is already laid out perfectly for you. You just have to cut the clip, choose your effect, and drag it onto the clip. Let's use the Ken Burns effect as an example. So all you have to do is cut the clip that you want to use the effect on, go onto the cropping effects, select Ken Burns, and you can clearly see where it's going to end and where it's going to start. After you adjust that, you just enter and the effect will be added. Whereas in Premiere Pro, you have to go into the adjustments panel, switch on keyframes for scale, and add a keyframe at the beginning and at the end of the clip. And on those keyframes, you adjust the scale. The problem with this is that it's not as easily achieved as it is on iMovie. Premiere Pro allows you to edit more precisely. I'll use the cutting tool as an example. In iMovie, the minimum amount of seconds you can cut a clip to is 0.2, which is quite limiting because what if I want my clip to be 0.1 seconds? But in Premiere Pro, you can cut as many 0.1 second clips as you want. The last thing I wanted to talk about is iMovie tends to save bigger files after editing. To show you guys exactly what I mean, I'm going to edit the same 1-minute clip on both the editing softwares using the exact same visual effects. And then I'm going to export the files and we'll compare the size difference. In the beginning, this isn't really an issue, but after you start fighting for space, it becomes a huge problem. So as you can see, the iMovie file is 153.8 megabytes, whereas the Premiere Pro file is 76.6 megabytes, which is basically half of the iMovie one. Out of the two editing softwares, I definitely have a favorite, which is Premiere Pro, but iMovie is also a very good editing software. The only thing that I would say sets the two things apart is, what do you want to use it for? If you don't want to do anything crazy to your videos or anything overly complicated, then iMovie is definitely the best. If you're that person who wants to get in, crop this, crop that, use Ken Burns, do this quickly, then go for iMovie. Also, if you're a beginner, I say go for iMovie because iMovie is very simple. The problem with iMovie is that you need to have an Apple device, which as much as a lot of people have iPhones, I don't think everyone uses an iPhone. Like maybe an iPad, you can also use an iPad, but then again, not everyone has an iPad. And for that reason, it becomes quite exclusive to people who have those devices. Whereas with Premiere Pro, you can have it on any device, literally. And if you want to use it on your phone, now they came out with, I think it's called Premiere Rush. I'll leave a picture here. You can have it on an iPhone, Android, whatever. You can download it and use it, which is great, But I'm pretty sure it costs some type of amount of money. The reason why I'm able to use Premiere Pro is because my brother uses it. If he didn't use it and if he wasn't like using Premiere Pro, I would not go and pay that much every month at this stage in my YouTube channel. Like I really wouldn't, because it's not necessary. Obviously it's nice to have all the cool features, but I'd be able to do without them. Before, when I saw Premiere Pro, I like that it looked like the most complicated thing ever, but it actually has such a simple layout. everything is there. You have a small square where you can preview the files that you're about to edit. You have another square where you can select where you're going to import your videos from, and then you have the main editing square where you will see everything that you've edited so far, and then you have your workspace down there where you drag on your clips and you put all the effects in there. That's what I like about Premiere Pro. It's basically all in your control. But obviously not everyone needs that and not everyone wants it. I think most people who use Premiere Pro are people who are into editing. There's so many things for you to do on Premiere Pro. There's so many effects, so many different little things that you can do to your video to make it look like this or make it look like that. It comes down to whether you're willing to pay that extra price to get those effects on Premiere Pro. Some people are not willing to pay that money because you pay what, 305 Rand, and you won't even use all of those effects. So that's why I say people who use Premiere Pro are into deep editing, because they know that the things that they need to use are on Premiere Pro and not on iMovie. I've definitely done my fair share of editing on iMovie as well as Premiere Pro. I think there's a whole lot more that I don't know about Premiere Pro, so like I'm not an expert. I don't know everything about Premiere Pro or iMovie. iMovie, is there much to know? I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I'm not an expert. I don't know every single thing that there is. That's just my 2 cents on those editing softwares. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it helped you decide which editing software would be good for you. If it did any of those things, give this video a like. Don't forget to subscribe and share. Leave a comment down below telling me if you'd actually pay those 305 Rand for Premiere Pro if you had that extra money, you know, because it's expensive. It's expensive every month. I only use it because I don't pay for it. I'm such a freeloader, guys. I don't pay for anything. I don't pay for my Apple Music. I don't pay for my Premiere Pro, nothing. Soon that good life will end, but until then, we trade on. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.